Hey there, YouTube. This is Smoke Your Pipe and Be Silent. We're not really that silent when we're talking about stuff here, I guess. But I assume that you get the point behind what the name of this channel means. Pipe smoking is about coming to silence and reflecting on life and taking a reflective pause in the midst of all that we're busy with in modern life. For me, I'm out here in my little smoke shack, my dog Lucia, and some books I got to read for my master's thesis. Christification, a Lutheran Approach to Theosis by Jordan Cooper, and Union with Christ as Salvation as Participation by Jordan Cooper. He's a Lutheran theologian who represents a school of thought that sees a lot of compatibility between Lutheran theology and Eastern Orthodox theology. So he's one of the thinkers that I'm going to have in my thesis on sanctification coming up. In the afternoons, I'm usually pretty tired in my little head, so I tend to sit out here in my little smoke shack with a pipe and my books, and I have my little dog who likes to follow me along everywhere I go. So she's here. Let's see, lay down. She lay down. Lay down. Got some early morning pipe in my Boswell shot shell pipe that I got in 2006 in Chambersburg, the Boswell shop, Pennsylvania. And it's a nice pipe, and early morning pipe has really grown on me as one of my favorite tobaccos. Well, I had a thought this morning of a little more philosophical nature that I thought about. Might be good sharing on this channel. And it's revolving around the question of, does online community actually exist? Recently, this has been a question that has gotten all kinds of YouTube pipe community people's panties in a bunch, if you want to put it that way. It's been a discussion that the Pipe Cottage, which is a channel that I follow and appreciate greatly, has Alan there has written a post about online community not existing, and a video about online community being a false sense of community, and that's gotten all sorts of people upset, which I think is a very healthy process. I think when people get upset on the internet, sometimes it can lead to a bunch of nonsense, but sometimes it can also sort of make people stop to ask, well, what does this really mean? You know, what can we take from this? As I've been reflecting over this, I've been thinking to myself that, in a sense, I think Alan's right that online community does not exist, that it is in some sense an illusion. Or at least it's not the same thing as community in a local physical sense. But at the same time, my own experience and what I see other people, other people's reactions, people want to stand up for the concept of online community because they see it as something that has been valuable for themselves. They've experienced something that they call online community. Whether it's a community or not, they call it that. So the question becomes, what is it? If it's not community, then what is it? Is it a lie? Is it something, is it an illusion? Is it something that we're better off without? Is it something entirely different that we shouldn't be calling community? Or is it something more than that? And I had the thought over my morning coffee this morning that the concept of analogy of being can be of use in this area. Analogy of being is a concept that is a really old concept of theology that refers to the existence of God and what it means for something to exist. Does God exist? That's not a question of whether you're an atheist or a theist or a Christian or agnostic or anything, but rather, does God exist? What does it mean for God to exist? Existence, being, is a concept that refers to objects among other objects in a created order. Existence being something that things that exist because they are created by God. God himself is uncreated, is not created. It's referred to as the first cause by St. Thomas of Aquino, who is the cause of all other things that exist. So does God exist? No. But not in the sense that there is no God, but in the sense that God's existence is not the same as the existence of other things in creation. But rather, the things of the earth, the things of creation around us, are, in a sense, their being is an analogy that points beyond themselves to a being that is beyond being. The things of this world hold within themselves a touch of the transcendent. Transcendent in the sense of beyond what the created order contains in and of itself. And so what I mean by that is, when you say that something exists, when you say that something is, there are different ways you can mean that. And there are also different purposes for existence, or for that determination. Being in and of itself is something that points beyond itself to a reality that is the cause of that being, that is God himself. All of creation witnesses to there being something more than what meets the eye. With that, I think the online community can be understood in a similar kind of way, as an analogy of being that points beyond itself. Does online community exist? Not in the same sense that community exists in the realist of senses, as community as a group of people physically present with each other that share values and support each other in life and all that a local community can entail. But I would say that even a local community, even something that is people in one place in time that share values and share life together and support each other, that community is in and of itself an analogy to the community that is the triune God's three persons in community with each other. The Christian concept of God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There are three persons in one Godhead of one nature but three persons. And therefore God, in and of the Trinity, is a community in a sense that is beyond any concept of community or relation we have in the created realm. But the concept of community and relations that we have in the created realm point beyond themselves to a community that is who God is. And so to be created in the image of God is in a sense to be a person who lives in and for community. And we seek, as humans that are created in the image of God, to create community and a sense of relationship and community in the different spaces that we have in our domain, in our realm of influence. And so I would say that online community exists in an analogous way. Is online community in the same sense as a physical community where you live? No. It can be an extension of that, sure. I mean, there could be, a group of friends that have an online chat or something like that, where it's a reflection of an actual community. But I would say that online community points beyond itself to the foundational part of what it is to be human, that we seek connection with other people. And connection can look differently. I think the problem becomes when online community takes the place of actual physical personal community. When our online presence and online life, if we call it existent in the exact same sense that everything else in our physical space is existent, if we turn the analogy into something unequivocally the exact same thing, if online community is considered the same as physical community, I don't think it can be. I don't think if an online community can have the same sense of presence and sense of support and sense of life together that a physical community can. But I think it can point beyond itself to that and spur us on to seeking a greater sense of community where we are. I think online, the analogy of community online can be something that, as we interact with it and participate in it, become more attuned to the sense of seeking connection with other people. And that connection can be very well in an online sense, in an online capacity. My experience with YouTube pipe smoking community or the Pipe Cottage Social that I'm a part of has been really fun in the sense that there are people out there who I have never met that want to encourage me and interact with me on different things. And that is, in a sense, an expression of community. Is it the same thing as the community that I have with my friends here in the north of Sweden or whatever you may fill in the blank with? No, it can't be. And I think the problem with social media in general today is that it takes the place of physical, actual community. We choose to live in an analogy that distracts us from the reality of the life that we live in, or the possibilities that go along with the life that we live in a physical place. And as a sense, if we consider the world to be comprised of physical and transcendent realities, physical and immaterial realities together, spiritual, if you will, and physical, what your church fathers would refer to as sensible and intellectual realms, or the Nicene Creed would say that we believe the things seen and unseen, these different sides of reality interpenetrate in a sense. It becomes problematic when you only live in the unseen side of reality or turn your focus there or only into the seen. If you want to reduce reality to something that is only what I can touch and feel, then you deny the existence of a very real other immaterial side of reality. And similarly, in an analogous way, I think when we turn our attention and only live in digital spaces and call that real, call that, or live in it as if it were the most important reality that we have access to, which I think, even if we may not acknowledge it to be the case, that a lot of people that live that way, addictions to social media and I work with youth who are glued to their phones in a way that is extremely unhealthy, and they have totally checked out of the physical reality of where they are and chosen the analogy because it's more fun. I think that's really problematic. And so I think the challenge or the warning that should come on all forms of analogous online activity is that it is intended to be something that points beyond itself to living life in the here and now in the fullest extent of the what it is to be human as a part of creation, and it can't ever take the place of the here and now physical sense of community, sense of reality, sense of the transcendent, the things that are unseen beyond. When we turn that into a digital realm that we live in, then we distract ourselves from something that is incredibly real and incredibly important. And so, as much as I've been really annoyed by some of the videos I've seen on YouTube recently, who have been people all upset about the about Dr. Harrelson's what do I want to call it? Tankeställare, I would say in Swedish, was his sort of point that he put out there for people to chew on. that he's caused a stir over, which I really appreciate about Dr. Harrelson and his channel. I've been really annoyed by some of the reactions that people have had to it, but I think the question of whether online community actually exists is something that we all need to stop and take pause and consider. Because maybe it is something that is really hazardous and damaging for us if we choose to live an online life as if it were the exact same thing as a physical presence in life. Online community takes the place of physical community, and we dupe ourselves into thinking that it's just as well. That's a problem. And I think Dr. Harrelson has shown that in a way that is important to take pause to. But at the same time, I think it's important to realize that the analogous nature of online community is something that can help us see what is beyond it and use it as a tool to foster an appreciation of the life that we live in the here and now, in the physical reality that we are bound to as human beings. And so I think online space is something that needs to be redeemed and used wisely, in a sense. Is there an online community among YouTubers or other pipe enthusiasts online? In a sense, yeah. I think so. But it's definitely not the exact same thing as a real community around me. But I'm thinking that, or in my experience, in the short period of time I've been active on this online pipe smoking community, it has helped me take actual steps to invite people where I live that I know are into pipe smoking into an actual community to meet up, talk about things, share experiences, and we refer back to people on YouTube that we both follow and appreciate the videos of. And so in a sense, the online YTPC has led to a real actual community where I live around pipe smoking that then refers back to the YTPC, and it goes around and around and around. So I'm very thankful that there is a YTPC, whatever that may be, but I think it is good for us to stop and take stock in what that really means. So I look forward to being more active in this YTPC and seeing where this channel will go. This has been a fun little experiment for me, thus far anyway. And I hope some of you have had the energy to listen to this much of it, but I hope that we can all stop and take a moment to look beyond the surface of everything we interact with, see what the real reality is behind it. And when it comes to actual relations with actual people, that too points beyond itself to something more real. And I would say that the world itself reflects the reality of a God who is relation, is relationship, and is love, and is real presence. And so when we experience these things in people, in places, or in this thing we call life, they're there for us to look beyond the surface to what is the cause of them. So with that, I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee, let the early morning pipe do his business, and get digging into my books. But thanks for listening. This has been Smoke Your Pipe and Be Silent.